Voncast show. I got Ric Chavez, aka the Lobby God, over the phone. How's it going, man?
It's going, man. We are trying our hardest to survive out here. How's it going over there with you?
Uh, Going all right. Feeling the same way, same sentiment. Trying to survive. Literally, it's not too bad. I mean, like I don't know how it is there, but you can only go to groceries, pharmacies out here in California, and they have Uber Eats and stuff for delivery and food, but that's about it.
Right. Right. Yeah, we got some of that stuff. They're not as strict right now out here in Colorado that they are in California, but the governor has extended that we stay home, basically till the end of the
Hmm.
month. All the schools are locked down like everywhere else. And yeah, and we usually go grab some food and come back home, or we just do whatever shopping we need to. And
Hmm.
and just kind of we kind of lock ourselves into our own little property here. So I think we're doing fairly well though.
That's good. Good to hear. Same here. Just working. When I'm not working, I'm at home, kind of
Yeah,
thing. But let's do the intro. Rick, you are a producer. You make beats, right? And you also help out with 5 7 Collective, correct?
correct. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, man. We've been working together for man, time flies. I want to say a couple of years already or
Yeah,
more.
yeah. What is this? 22? Like maybe 2 years now? Maybe a little bit more than 2 years, I think.
Yeah, that's about right. I think we started around like 2018,
Yeah,
maybe.
that sounds right.
Yeah. So let's go back in the beginning. You you were in the army, right, for a good while,
Yes, yes.
right? Can you share us like what you did in the
Sure.
army?
Yeah. So I joined the army, signed the papers at 17, and was and I ended up becoming an infantryman. And I did
Mm.
my full time as an infantryman, but I was also, I did some program management stuff to manage programs for the army. I did some driving duty for some generals and high ranking officials, and then I also
Mm.
was in charge of, well, not in charge, but I also worked in the operations areas and securities. So I did quite a few things, and I did 21 and a half years, or 21 years. Yeah.
Wow. 21 and a half years, man. Thank you for serving
Uh,
in the country, doing your thing, man, putting your life on the line. Just 21 years is
it
a
is,
lot.
yeah, and no, thank you so much. We just, yeah, I think the assumption is, we appreciate when people tell us that, but at the same time, we really value the support. Whether your
Mm.
political ideas or not, we just really appreciate support for veterans across the board. So we thank you as well for supporting.
100%, man. So, how you and I know each other is through rapper, producer J57,
Yes, sir.
right? He is the one that started 5 7 Collective, which is what we're a part of. It's a collective essentially of artists, producers, breakdancers, and whatnot, all in one kind of thing. Um, I'm kind of hazy on how you met Jay. Like, how did that come about? Like, what year was that, and how did y'all meet up
Um,
or know each other?
yeah, so I was still in the army, and I was actually in Afghanistan in 2009 or 2010. It's still a little hazy, but I was in Afghanistan, and I was really, we had internet. We finally gotten
Mm-hmm.
established, and I was out living in the area, and we had a nice little camp, but it was getting really slow. I was kind of getting bored with music, um, being a hip hop fan, and I started Googling some things and ended up finding a battle league, grind. I was finding
Mm-hmm.
grind time battles, and I started chatting it up with Lush One. So got his, found him on Twitter, made a Twitter, started talking to him on Twitter, and just adding people here and there, and then here's the diehard truth. I was watching a battle with Iron Solomon, and Solomon
Mm-hmm.
said, "You think you got my number, but you've been watching SoulCon all summer." And so I
Mm.
said, if he's referencing somebody, maybe I should look into that person instead. So I checked out SoulCon, instantly fell in love with what he was doing. I liked his battles, and then the album came out, Soul Like Con. I don't even remember if that's a name. I think
I think
yeah,
it was.
and I started listening to it. I was like, man, this is all great. And I sent him some messages on Twitter, and it was cool. You know, we were just kind of chopping it up. And then one day, he said his birthday was coming up or something. It was just this little tweet. So I had already played all his music in my little shed, and all my coworkers, you know, my battle buddies, they were listening. They liked him too. They really liked SoulCon.
Mm-hmm.
So we made this really cheesy happy birthday video, you know, from Afghanistan, and he really liked it. We put it up on YouTube, and people really liked it. So we ended up chatting a little bit more. I told him, you know, I'm into music. I played drums through junior high and high school, and a little bit in college and stuff. So then I said, I'd really like to take it to the next level. He said, you got to talk to my man, J57. He's my producer, and he's the best producer, hands down. He's like, I'll introduce you guys if he's cool with it. And then the next message was like, hey, here's his email. Just shoot him a message. He's waiting for your email. I sent him an email, and then we just started chopping it up. And I came back from Afghanistan. I was in Los Angeles. He was having shows. He actually had a show out in Laverne. Went to go see him in Laverne. I also seen SoulCon out here in Denver.
Nice.
And so yeah, so that's how I got mixed up with all those cats. And since then, actually at that time, I said, Jay, I want to take it to the next level. I'm leaving Afghanistan. I'm ready to do a nice home production thing. Like I want to do it. He told me what to buy. Like he gave me the model numbers and everything. He's like, this is the best stuff you can buy if you can afford it. And luckily I had an opportunity I could. So I came, I bought a new Mac computer, bought studio monitors. I bought a MPD 32. I bought a keyboard. Like I just went nuts. And I bought like this set that had a microphone and all kinds of shit. So yeah, so I got it and I just started working on it, and I would send him tracks, and he'd give me his honest critique, like, hey, I can hear the passion, but maybe consider this, because I was using stock sounds. So he's like, maybe take that stock sound out and check this link out. That really passive like, and next thing you know, he's like, yeah, that's it. That's awesome. Great job. And then that's how I ultimately met and started talking with J57.
That's interesting. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. You know, it's so weird. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have very similar stories of how they got into Brown Bag or J57 or SoulCon. For me, it was 2012.
Okay.
It was my friend's graduation. It was before her party, so I was on YouTube just trying to kill time. And I'm a fan of battle rap. I make music, I rap. I was super into like the grind times and the King of the Dots and whatnot. And I just love the battles. You know, like I don't partake, but they're just witty, clever, it's theatrical. I ran into a battle, just browsing through. It was SoulCon against someone, and he won. He killed it. I can name like a couple. I can't even name a couple losses, but he won most of the battles he participated in. Just cadence and delivery was dope. And I think what YouTube does is like, since you like this, you might like this too. So SoulCon, outside of a battle rapper, he's a musician too. He's a rapper, and that's how I got into Brown Bag.
Nice.
2012 summer, I downloaded all their music, the Brown Tape 1 and 2 EPs and whatnot. And then I think in November I messaged J57 "Oh, hey, big fan of your music, but what does this lyric mean in this song?" And that's how that's how I became friends with him. I just asked him, "Hey, like it's a cool song. What does this mean?" Or what was the lyrics here? Because I can't find it online. And so and from there, it just became friends. I told him I made music, but it wasn't like right away. And over time, it's developed a friendship. And a few years down the road, like I'm in a similar position where like he's giving me advice and send me your music, work on this or work on that kind of
Yeah,
thing. Very organic, man. It was pretty cool.
yeah, and now after, I mean, nearly 10 years of knowing Jay, and working with him, like I want to say this week alone we've talked probably every day. Um,
Hmm.
but we got we're doing a lot of business things right now, but
Right.
it was something I never ever thought would have happened. And when he asked me if
Hmm.
I wanted to work, for him, and as he's building the label and everything, I said yeah, and it's just been such a great ride. And we just started. Like technically,
Yeah.
we're still in the infancy of a business, and the stuff that we've done already it puts others to shame, man. It really does. And I'm sorry to say it, like you got guys that are like, 2018 is my year, 2019 is my year, 2020, dude. If it's your year, you're lagging already.
Hmm.
So we just don't stop. We just
Yeah.
continually push out more and more product, and it's not quantity over quality. It's actually vice versa. I don't think we've put out anything that wasn't well received.
Hmm.
So it's been
Agreed.
awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm in the same boat. Like when I met or when I befriended J57 online, had a you know cool relationship, like just friendship. Hey, what's up? Shooting DMs. Rarely did I say, "Hey, check out my music." For me, it was just cool, just him like acknowledging me as a friend. Saying what's up,
Right.
and just a fan of the music. I again, like with you, I never expected to even working with him. That was like I just figured, oh, just make my music, do my own thing, and be friends with him, but never like push that, hey, check out my music kind of thing,
Right. And I
And
didn't want to do that, man. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I didn't do that
no, it's okay.
when initially when I came to the label. I had actually told him I was watching this thing about like self improvement, how to be more resilient and take care of yourself mentally. I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. There was something that said everybody needs help, just not everybody will ask for it. So
Mm-hmm.
I sent him a message and I said, hey man, I'm here to help. If you need anything, let me know. Like I'm just here to help. I sent it to him, I sent it to SoulCon and somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody got back to me but Jay. And Jay's like, oh cool,
Yeah.
I don't need anything right now. And actually, bro, I did that because I had seen he brought you on as his assistant. So okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. Maybe I can help. That's why I did it. And then he turned around. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yo, can you do a phone call?" I said, "Yeah." And so he called me, and he's like, "This is what I want to do. I want you to come, help me out, and let's build this thing." And I was like, "Cool." So I came
Mm-hmm.
on initially as like not even as an assistant. I think I was just there to like help get things moving, um,
Mm-hmm.
and then over time, just making things push in a certain direction. But then he made me an artist on the webpage. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even an artist, but so he did it, and I kind of felt obligated, like, well, shit, okay, so maybe I need to get a track out or whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
that was the beginning of the lobby EP, because when I was talking to him
Yep.
about it, I was sitting in a lobby in DC, in a hotel in DC, while I was waiting to go do lobbying, because I support veterans, so I go lobby on veterans' behalves, and I ended up going to DC, and all that transpired that day. That's how it all worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Hence they call you the lobby god. I remember that you were in DC lobbying. Um, yeah, man. So I mean, you put out your first release was God for God's sake,
Yeah.
and then it was instrumental. Then the lobby EP in 2019, or no, yeah, lobby EP, and then Be With Me, and then Figure It Out this year, 2020. Medicate, Not a Test, Sad and Waiting. So putting out stuff, man. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. And then those last few, that's actually a co-producer credit with Jay. So me and
Mm,
him both did those, and we have two more. We got two more that are coming out here probably in the next few months that we put production
nice.
credits on, and yeah, which again I never thought I'd have it. I never ever thought I would I would be pushing out music, let alone having music with J57. Honestly,
Yeah, 100%, man. The first time I released music through these like Spotify's and whatnot was through 5/7. You know, I mean, I've rapped so I've made music for the longest time, but never really like recorded or you know put stuff out like online. But you know, it's a blessing and feeling honored to be part of it. You know, be part of 5/7 Collective and in the same mindset and everything. Um, who like so you said to go back, you played music since you were a kid or in like high school, middle school?
yeah. So if I remember correctly, in like third grade or something, my dad wanted me to play the accordion, and I tried it, and but I didn't like it at all because it wasn't cool,
Mm-hmm.
man. You know, it just
Right,
wasn't a
right.
cool instrument to me. But I
Mm-hmm.
understand like people who play that. That's that's hardcore, dude, because that thing's heavy and it's a lot of mental capacity to make that happen. But it just wasn't for me, so I wanted to change it up, and I think it was in fourth or fifth grade I ended up playing the violin. Played that
Mm-hmm.
for a year. Again, that wasn't, and that's only because it was offered. Nothing else was offered. So
Right.
then I switched to drums, like in the sixth grade. So I just started playing drums. So I finished up junior high, went to high school, played drums in high school. At 16, I tried out for a pretty legitimate drum line, Riverside City College drum line. Um, People may know that band. They've come out in movies. They literally have their own tour.
Mm-hmm.
They're a big drum and bugle corps type of band. So I tried out. I made it for the summer league at 16. So I was playing drums at 16 for the college,
Mm-hmm.
and came back, kind of dwindled in drums a little bit, and then I joined the army. And just throughout my time in the army, I didn't play any instruments. I just kind of invested in digesting music the best I could, whatever music was
Mm-hmm.
available. Being in a platoon, there's a wide variety of music that you've never ever heard in your life. So having people play music and listening and kind of hearing that was more common in their neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
really eye opening. So
So when you were digesting music and whatnot, what year was this? So the audience can get a like
uh,
a like a guesstimate of like what was out, like LimeWire, Napster kind of thing. I mean, obviously iPhones weren't
yeah,
out at the
it
time.
was it was right before Napster. So it was I joined, let me see, 96, 97. So 97 to 90, well 97 to the year 2000 was really all hip hop,
CDs.
punk,
Mm-hmm.
and because one of my platoon buddies was into punk music. There was country, and I remember this was when it wasn't Kazaa or Napster. It was some other sharing service.
LimeWire.
Maybe it was LimeWire.
There's Soul Seeker. There's a bunch,
Yeah,
man. There's
Frostwire.
Napster.
Frostwire.
Oh yeah, Frostfire. That's one of
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
and my years could be off, like
oh, that's about
with that
right.
program, but I remember we had a guy who had this awesome computer. And he was downloading all this stuff and burning CDs. So it was it was a good influence on me. And my roommate was Puerto Rican, and so he was
Mm-hmm.
playing all this Puerto Rican, music. And I don't even want to say Puerto Rican. He was playing this like grassroots Puerto Rican stuff because he was from like outside the city. He was from like a
Mm-hmm.
really rural area. That's why I call it Puerto Rican. Like that's the hardcore down to the earth sound.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just ended up taking it all in as much as I could, and still going out to clubs and parties and things like that. Um, and then 9/11 happened. Then after
Right.
9/11, I was a year in Iraq. I'd come home for a year, another year in Iraq, come home, and then go back and forth. And so just each deployment was something different. And then Afghanistan, that's when I really kind of looked more into the boom bap sound and just continually digested that, all of it. And then now, believe it or not, I rarely search for music because we have so many artists on the label. The music that's being submitted, that fills up my time. I've listened to every single track before we've released it.
Wow, that's a lot of tracks. A lot of people upload a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. And then that's just, that was the time frame. That was the years right there. Yeah, Kazaa or LimeWire. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I mean, those were like, we had the MP3 players when they weren't like iPods yet, but like
right.
You can buy them, you can hook them up to your computer. Yeah, I was kind of skeptical about those at first because I was so into CDs. I had the CD player, the anti-shock Walkman.
Yeah.
You had the binder with you with the burned CDs.
Oh yeah.
There was Warehouse Music, Tower Records. Like, I feel like back then, I don't know, like you appreciated music more because a CD was like $15-$20 and, you had to really pick out which one you wanted, and yeah, I remember it was definitely a time where like you really like appreciated music more. It wasn't as accessible as it is now.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But
like now it's on your phone, and before you had to hear it on the radio, go to like Tower Records or something. They were probably playing it, and then you'd have to go look for it. And remember that the CD was in this super duper thick plastic protective case for whatever reason, and then take it home and then just hope that you liked the rest of the songs on it, because some of them didn't have singles cut. They were just, you got to pay the whole price for the whole CD. So yeah, it was interesting. And I grew up kind of poor, man, so I didn't buy a lot of CDs. But my friends, some of them had CDs, or you just kind of get them handed to you from a friend of a friend of a friend.
Same. My first rap CD, which I don't count, was Big Willie Style, Will Smith. I don't count that. What was given to me by my cousin was Lil Wayne, The Block Is Hot.
Yeah.
That was like, holy shit, this is like, that was the first actual rap CD I got, and it's just so trippy to see like Lil Wayne become the artist he is today. But yeah, I remember like sometimes I would judge getting a CD or not based on the cover art.
Right.
But yeah, that's crazy. Like, did you ever, like, I know you did music and stuff. Or did you ever like, when did you start messing with beats, like tinkering, like making beats? Was that during Afghanistan or after?
It was after Afghanistan, and I came home. I ordered all the stuff, everything in all at once, and then I just started trying my hardest and doing it. And I remember I had bought Fruity, I think it was called Fruity Loops or something, and I gave that to my friend Art. And you actually met Art at my daughter's.
I did.
Yeah, so I gave it. I bought that for him for his birthday, and I said, man, because I just believe that he's such this great artist. So I said, I need you to learn this, man, and live it. And he was happy, and he tried his hardest, and he did great with it. And in fact, he has a track coming out tomorrow through us, through the FiveSe7en Collective. Yeah, it's his first track released, and he did it on that Fruity Loops, man. But yeah, I started doing that stuff, the beat stuff, in 2010. And Art and I actually created our own little record label called Dios Curry Records, but we didn't go too far with it because Art has a very demanding, time-consuming job, and it just wasn't going to fly. I felt I was doing a lot of the work, and I respect him too much to just argue about it, so it just went to the wayside. But we did use SoundCloud and Bandcamp the best we could, and I think we came out with like 14 or 15 singles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and you know what? We actually came out with a I guess you could say it was an EP, maybe an LP. We're both from Baldwin Park, And so we called it the Bolin EP. I think it was a Bolin EP or something like that. Let me see. I got it somewhere around here. But yeah, we tried our hardest at it, and just it's too time consuming with his full time job.
Yeah.
So
So for those that don't know, Baldwin Park that's Southern California. Is that still LA County or that's somewhere else?
no, it's L.A. County is so huge. So it's East L.A. to San Gabriel Valley, Baldwin
Hmm.
Park. Yeah,
Okay.
Baldwin Park.
626, right?
Their claim to fame is they're literally it's the home of In and Out, and it is
Is it really?
yeah, it's the first In and Out, and then it's right
Oh
next door
wow.
to West Covina. So anybody who's been to the West Covina Plaza or whatever they call it now, um, that's like their claim to fame. We're near Cal Poly, Mount Sac.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Did you like I tried making beats once. I think it's when Kanye West came out because oh I rap and I make beats
right.
and I was big into the sampling and like the Ninth Wonder type music, Pete Rock beats.
Yeah.
I downloaded the cracked version of Fruity Loops, man, and I didn't get it. I don't I didn't get how to make a beat. It trips me out. Like it's easy. Like for me, it's easier like rap on and whatever. But like making the beat, like it's tough. How do you? What's your thought process on making a beat?
That's a good question, and to be honest, I feel the same way about rapping. Like I can rap in my car. In my car, I'm the fucking best
Mm-hmm.
rapper in the world, bro. But out like to put it on something, I'm horrible. I've tried it. It sounds horrible. So I give a lot of credit, to people who actually get in front of the microphone because it takes a lot of guts just to get that your voice out there, and
Mm-hmm.
I commend those who do it. As far as the beat making stuff, we're just trying to become a producer. Like I'm not a producer at all. Jay's a producer. I'm not a producer. I'm a little novice beat maker. The process just comes with for me it's different because if I can hear a drum beat and make that happen, and then I can find a melody that I like to match it. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a method because sometimes I'll hear a melody and I'll be like, oh shit, there it is. I'll take that melody and then I'll make a track off of that the best way I can. Sometimes it's actually
Mm-hmm.
started just off of a hi-hat pattern. So, which at the end of the song, I remove that initial hi-hat pattern. I don't know why I do that. But um, yeah, that's just kind of how it builds up. There's no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a method. I know some people do. I don't have a method right now. I haven't figured it out personally.
Right.
So far, I think I'm consistent, and there's been some good reviews about some of the releases, and I just learn as much as I can. So for each vinyl record that I own, I probably have a book to match it that I've read. So whether
Oh wow.
yeah, so it's whether it's about music theory, hip hop, rock, biography. Um, it's a there's a bunch of dude. I even got like Microsoft Office books. I got SharePoint books just so I know how to work obscure programs now. You know, how to make Android apps, Raspberry Pi, Arduinos. Like there's all these little things that I kind of play with inside my mind, but I
Mm-hmm.
just want to stay as educated as possible. With on both sides. I want to
That's
be
really good.
I want to be a very smart person, but I want to be that same level of smartness for my hobby as well, which is music.
I like that. That's a good way of putting it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed a lot of your stuff is more on the boom bap lo-fi side. Lo-fi side. That's really cool, man. I dig that kind of music. It's like a dope beats, man. I
thank
wouldn't even know where to start. I mean, I know like there's MPCs, right? That's what the that thing people carry. That I don't even know what they're called.
Yeah, so yeah, there's different models, and there's MPCs, there's MPDs, and then there's MPKs, which are kind of keyboard focused. And then every company has their own brand. Just MPC is
Mm-hmm.
very very popular as it is, just because it's a historic name now within music. within hip hop
Mm-hmm.
specifically. There's so many people use the MPC, but now things are as much as people are rooted in their original pieces. Like I'm rooted in the MPD 32. I know people are rooted in like a SP404, because they're more into the um, what's it called, like the more electronic sounds, um, synthesizer focusing. So
Mm-hmm.
where they can tweak a sound really quick, and I mean, the 404 is very small, not too small, but it's smaller than lugging a MPC around with floppy disks or whatever you got. So
Right.
yeah,
I had a question too.
yes sir.
So I know how rappers can collab on a song. Like one person raps a verse or whatever, and then the other person does a verse. How do two people how does someone co-produce a beat? How does that work?
So for that one right there, um, so you could do a few things, right? You can share studio time and just try to go with it and see if it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I like for J57 and myself, I'll have a track and I work my hardest on it and I'm like, this is what I'd like, but I know it's missing something that I can't provide yet because I'm not experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the 20,000 plus hours, but
Right.
this is the sound that I want. This is where I want it to go. So then I'll take that. I will bounce each stem so I get every single stem off of the track. I package it all up. I send it to Jay with the stems and I say, hey, this is where it's at. And then he'll either call me or we'll talk in an email real quick. And I say, I would like this type of direction, or I
Mm-hmm.
don't have direction. Just do whatever you think you need to do. And then that's when he comes in and he does really what he does best, man. He's able to take, a sound and then just tweak it just the specific way, which makes it much more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll do some stuff and then I'll send it to him. He does some stuff and it either comes back with, let's try this or let's do this, or it's like, I think we're done with this. I think we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's push this one out. And that's how we have been doing it this whole time. Just because he's on the East Coast and I'm over here in Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Also, too, aside from you make beats, you're also responsible for the metadata, like
Right.
the labeling and stuff for the collective. I have no clue what that is. I see it on like DistroKid and whatnot. Can you tell us what metadata is and what your a description of what you had to do or what you have to do for releases from artists?
Yeah, of course. So metadata is basically information. It's data that gives you information about other data, right? So
Mm,
your song. So Vaughn drops a song. He's like, "Hey, I want this uploaded. I need it on Spotify." Cool. You get it to me, and then we have a form through our distributor Soul Spasm, and I go in and I put all the information about your song, because your song is
mm,
a song. We hear it, but technically it's data. It's in a computer. So we have to take this information, your name, the name of the song, the track number, the genre, and put it in this depository of information. And then that gets uploaded into, the systems to get it up onto Spotify or iTunes. And they're called DSPs, digital signal processing. So basically it's taking that information and specializing it as a sound to be pushed on Spotify or iTunes. So
mm.
the metadata is basically the digital fingerprint, the digital thumbprint for your song, that it's your song.
Uh-huh.
And then when Soul Spasm takes it and they put it in the DSPs, then it comes up with two different numbers. One's a UPC and the other one is an ISRC. So they're both digital codes that are associated with that digital thumbprint.
Mm-hmm.
So if it plays on anybody's stuff, there's specialized computer systems that pull that play. So if it plays on the radio, there's a computer system just monitoring radio waves, and it grabs that digital connection. It matches it and like, oh, that's Vaughn's track. Then that counts as a play.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Never
so
knew all that.
that's why metadata is super duper important. and a lot of people overlook it. They just put their name and the song
Mm-hmm.
track. That's
That's
the
what I
track
do.
title.
That's what I
Right,
do.
but you should be putting, if you belong to ASCAP or BMI, you should be putting ASCAP or BMI. You should be putting your genre, and then if it asks you, because I don't use DistroKid, but if it asks you for a description, you need to put a description in there on why that song was so important, like what made it to be a track. Because
Like,
there's certain
is it like a
beats.
sentence, like a couple sentences kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yep, just
interesting.
a little synopsis, because some of it could be like this. I'll just sum it up. Some of it could be like, um, and it's more of a personal story because it's from you. So you could be like, I basically made this because I hate the coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that COVID-19 is silly by keeping us in the house. But
Mm-hmm.
what you don't know is that coronavirus and COVID-19 are key search words right now. So
Uh-huh.
so even though they're not hashtagged, they're still key search words associated with that digital product.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Interesting.
when people start looking in certain realms, then that's when they start finding things. So and that's how we kind of utilize hashtags in social media. It's kind of the same process. You just want things to be put in there so they kind of hit a little bit better. And then
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly, that those descriptions are sometimes read by people who work for like Spotify or Deezer or Tidal.
Mm-hmm.
So to you want to grab interest so it can stay on their platforms.
Good to know. I, as an artist, I'm very oblivious to these things. I just put the name, artist, the name, title, when I want to release, the producer, if any, if I, producer or whatnot. But
Yeah.
it's all interesting stuff.
Yeah, and the DSP, like there's two different things. So you have the digital signal processor, which is just like it's processing, which is
Mm-hmm.
more of the computer side, and then you have the demand side platform, and then that's usually where it's initially it runs the DSP, and then it goes in the system, and then the other DSP, the demand side platform, is what gets it onto Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, kind of all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. From what
And it
I've
and it's
researched.
trippy. Like DSP is also a digital streaming platform.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And I know like you responsible for there. I don't know how many releases we uh, 5-7 Collective had in the past couple of years, but I believe you were one of the people that had to input all this info. So thank you. I appreciate it. It's like actual work to be put in,
Oh yeah, no, thank you. And with with the last stuff that we did release, which the last change we did was yesterday, I believe. So we have stuff that's ready to come out now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, individual tracks is we're over 500 in the last 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, individually. Like if you had an EP, we still count them as individual tracks in the metadata. It's just
Wow.
it is, but it's still labeled as an EP. But if you look at how it is line by line, we've surpassed 500 in the last 2 years.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Can we talk about the TigerKing stuff?
yeah,
Creating
absolutely.
a buzz, man. So obviously it's from Joe Exotic,
Right,
right?
right.
Funny, I still haven't seen a documentary. I've listened to podcasts about it. I've looked at the memes. Pretty gnarly stuff.
Yeah,
Um, like so, J57 put out the TigerKing EP, right?
correct. Yeah,
And it was under the artist was Joe Exotic, but it got taken down by Apple.
yeah. We got it put up through Soul Spasm. Soul Spasm worked their asses off to get it up.
Mm-hmm.
So we got it pushed onto Spotify and iTunes, and I want to say it went on another platform. I'm not sure, but Spotify and iTunes, and iTunes took it down. They just deleted the whole thing.
I wonder why. Is it the name? Is it like copyright infringement?
It yeah, I we didn't get too much information on it, but my assumption is that when Netflix approached this Joe Exotic to do the show, I believe they gave him a marketing team
Oh,
and they probably restricted trademarked his name. That's my assumption only. There's no fact to that.
mm-hmm.
But So they took it down from iTunes completely. Spotify, they like voided it out. You can see it, you just can't click to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Soul Spasm turned around and said, "Hey, they didn't like it. Because the name Joe Exotic." So did a different name outside TigerKing and Joe Exotic, and if I remember correctly, it went up. They took it down again.
What?
Yeah, it was something that they weren't going to entertain. So iTunes, I think we just lost a battle with iTunes on that one. I think Apple just said to go screw yourselves. They weren't going to play it at all. Spotify, it's still there. You just can't click it. So what we did was we started putting it on Instagram, and Instagram started canceling our posts. They were no
What?
joke. Instagram was removing our posts for the TigerKing EP. Now, granted, before it got taken down from Spotify, I don't know the numbers of plays exactly, but it was. I'm making an assumption that it was in the upwards of tens of thousands of plays within a day or two, or maybe
Yeah,
whatever it was. So we got it registered on their radar.
that's great. And also on TikTok too. It's I'm trying to look into
Yeah.
marketing music there. I saw the numbers on TikTok. It's trippy.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's over, I don't know, 4,000 people have made their own little videos for it.
That's so cool.
And so what we did was we put it on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and we put the EP on YouTube, so you can listen to each track individually if you like. And then we even made this little teaser of each track with, like viral looking video type stuff where it's like iTunes took this down or Spotify took it down. It's done very well. It's still doing
Mm-hmm.
well. So
Yeah, man.
yesterday I checked, and I think we're at like 12,000, roughly like 12.5 thousand views, on the the specific song "I Hate You, Carol."
Mm-hmm.
But as I check it right now, we are at 16.5 thousand views. So we've made roughly 2,000 views in a day. So
Wow.
it's definitely spiking on the YouTube side, and they have not taken it down. They have not done nothing with it. But
Yeah,
YouTube is a different machine altogether.
definitely.
Yeah, but they've given us no slack on it. It's doing very well. TikTok, it's doing extremely well on TikTok, and our analytics on Twitter. I mean, per tweet, I think we're at 300 to 400, sometimes 800 views on that tweet with a handful of shares or retweets.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
do you recommend watching Joe Exotic? From what I've read or from what I've listened to, it just doesn't seem. It's kind of like fucked up, pretty much.
yeah. So
Uh,
I when I didn't even know about Joe Exotic. I didn't. I let me take that back. I seen the preview on Netflix, but I didn't pay any attention to it. And then 2 hours later, my email goes off, and here's J57. Like, yo, I just made this EP as a joke.
mhm.
And then after that, boom, somebody provided the cover art, and then somebody provided this, and somebody provided a hashtag. Like, there was a few people, and I was like, this is gonna go in a crazy direction, and I need to know what this whole thing is about. So
Yeah.
I watched the TigerKing in 2 days. I think it was 7 episodes. I watched it in 2 days just to get it done, and I will tell you, I think it's one of those shows to watch because it's a trend right now.
Yeah.
Just to know, because they're going to continue it. They just
Oh,
announced that they're going to continue another episode here in a few days. So, and then once that one comes out, I'm sure we will be doing something again.
yeah. I mean, I've podcast talked about it. It's kind of sad. Uh, yeah. Just yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'd watch it, but it's. I'm glad that it's trending, and for us, it's doing well. You know.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's good. Thank you for sharing your story and your how you came up to where you are today, music wise and whatnot. It's so trippy how we have similar stories regarding how the battle rap thing and
Yeah,
whatnot. Have you watched any recent battle raps? I haven't. I don't know. Oh, I've heard about the Cassidy one. It didn't go so well. I didn't watch it, but I heard it wasn't too good.
I watched the last one that I can honestly say I watched was Disaster and Soulcon.
You know what? I couldn't watch it.
I
Uh
I was upset.
yeah,
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was pretty upset. I I focused on it. I was hyped up for it, and I was severely disappointed. Not saying they gotta fucking make me happy about it, but
right.
I was disappointed, man. I was really frustrated. And there's a little backstory to it, after talking with Jay about it, but
Same
it's
here.
yeah, it is just not.
Yeah, I
I was
couldn't watch it.
yeah,
He
I was
gave
just
me a. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying I was disappointed, and since then I haven't even looked into battle rap anymore because the guys that I do like, they rarely they rarely battle anymore, and so I've just kind of moved away from that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay gave me a backstory. It made me not want to watch it. I was like,
Right.
oh man, it's tough, but it's all good. I mean, same here, man. I mean, I was into battle rap, around the like in the 2011 to 2013. So you had Cadillac Ron, rest in peace, Dumbfounded,
Yeah.
Disaster, Sharon, a lot of the guys from King of the Dot. I know, Matt Hoffman. Them are still doing it, but yeah, man, like it was cool for a minute. It was dope. I was super into the whole like battle rap, 8 Mile thing,
Right.
but it I don't know.
It, I think it was a definite, impact on music. 100%.
Definitely,
They made
yeah.
movies on it, right?
Hmm.
But what I appreciated more, and me being an LA cat, what I appreciated more was battle rappers that were in that like Scribble Jam days, um, were putting out legitimately good music, like great music, and I enjoyed them as a battle rapper, but I enjoyed their musical craft more than I enjoyed their battles.
Yeah, there's that stereotype, that stigma. Oh, like you can be a really good battle rapper, but you probably can't make good music, or vice versa, right?
Right. And
There's
then there's some that do both, like Dumbfounded.
oh, he makes great music.
Dumbfounded makes great music, and he's a great battle rapper, and he's moved on, right? And my
Mm-hmm.
other one that I seriously have a huge love for is No Can Do.
Mm-hmm.
Can Do is just LA cat, always did great in battles, and he's kind of a funny guy, but his music was
Mm-hmm.
severely overlooked, and but his albums were great. I loved everything he had released.
Yeah,
So, and then there's some that I didn't like. There's some they were great battle rappers and they were not great artists on record.
yeah. I think that a lot of them are just like, what, I'm just gonna stick to battle rapping. Like, there's no point in trying to do the
Right.
music industry thing. And from what I hear, they're getting paid very well now. I don't know the exact numbers, but you know,
Yeah.
I would think they get paid well. I mean, depending like the kind of tier artist you are. I mean, it's just the dedication these battle rappers have. Like, for example, Disaster. This fool go like for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He memorizes this stuff like day in day out. He practices. It's all he does. So it shows a level of dedication. And once these rhymes are said, you really can't say them again. You know.
And and when we were in LA last time, and we were chopping it up,
Mm-hmm.
and I had mentioned Disaster, and I think Disaster is a great battle rapper.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people would say he's the greatest.
Mm,
I wouldn't go that far, but I will tell you, he is a great battle rapper. He's very long winded, but I just don't. And again, he does it. He gets in front of the mic, and I don't. This is just my opinion.
right. Right.
But he does great stuff. But I haven't seen any form for him to evolve. Right? Like I like battle rappers that hone their craft, become better, and continually give back to the community by providing new stuff and better stuff. Like Disaster, great man, but I can go back to any of his battles and it's all the same. Where he's yelling, rapping, spitting, sweating, and being disrespectful, which is his gimmick. but I want to hear music. I'm just
Yeah.
a, that's all it is. He's great at what he does,
For
but
me, I 100%. I agree with that. What you're saying. For me, it's like maybe that's like what they want. That's what we want to see from him. For me, it's like you. This is the guy that's supposed to be disrespectful in your face,
yeah,
punching people. But I. That's an interesting point you make. I mean, he. That's what he does. It's all he does. You know, very disrespectful. You know, like sometimes he crosses the line, but he backs it up with his words, kind of
right.
thing. Um, but yeah, man. Definitely, he's one of the from when I got into battle rapping. He's one of the ones that are still doing it and are is the more successful ones.
Right.
Um,
Well,
so
well, you know what though? Look at it from a business perspective, right? Like if
mhm,
I was in charge of something and I had Disaster on the roster, of course that's what I would want because that's what his fans like.
mhm,
Um, but when you look at other rap, and I'm not going to throw names out there, but you got other rappers that they are battle rappers, and behind the scenes they might not be putting out albums, but guess what? They got music placements. They got music placements in movies. They got them
mhm,
in commercials. They're making a lot more money doing these music licensing deals than they do from the battle rap. They're just
mhm.
doing battle rap to keep their name relevant,
Right.
So you got to look at the business aspect.
That's
And
true.
I mean, that's why Disaster got picked for the movie Bodied because he's a great battle rapper and he's got an image of being a tough guy. And he
Mhm.
is a tough guy. But if he I'm sure he has his venture somewhere else where he's pulling some cash. I can bet money on it,
Yeah.
but other than that, man, I don't know. I don't get too involved in that business side. I just focus on the 5-7 Collective label.
Hundred
That's where all
percent.
my
Yeah.
time goes mostly. So,
Oh man, it's funny. I was last night. I was writing these raps and I posted on my Instagram. It was my most recent Instagram picture. And then Jay was like, "Stay home or I'll be angered." And then I responded in like a battle rap fashion, like I put disaster voice. I was like, email was McCall. No, email was McConan. No, email was McConan. Wait, hold on. Hold up. Email was McConan sulking. Elegant brolic bicep bulging. Protein shakes raw eggs and yolking. Pen game JR token. At home I body alone like Macaulay Culkin. And
bar.
he thought that was dope. But I thought it's something that disaster would say. It's like that really fast rap, but like it doesn't make
Yeah,
all the way sense, but it's very clever. But
no, it's
yeah,
dope, man. It's
yeah,
bars.
yeah. Thanks, man. I showed that to Elgon. He said I was dope too. But yeah, man. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you for taking the time out to chat, man. It was nice catching up.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
you
Same to you.
know, hope all's well. Hopefully, in about. Oh, okay. From your experience or what you've seen, just be your opinion. What do you when do you think this stay at home thing or coronavirus will kind of slow down and we can slowly get back into normal routines?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, I don't have a background in medical
Right.
or anything like that, but I would say if any of your listeners really wanted to like gauge on how this is going, don't watch the news. Stop watching.
Yeah. It doesn't do
But
much. It's just
don't
horrible.
start following your local hospitals.
Hmm.
Start following your local clinics and nurses and doctors that are posting videos every day because they're there in the emergency rooms. They're there in the
Hmm.
hospitals. So
Agreed.
that's that's the soldiers on the front line. Your politicians are not. The politicians are not on the front line. They never will be.
Right.
So you can be fed all the crap news from
Yeah.
the president and his staff, or you can even Dr. Fauci, who's a lead, you know, the lead fucking guy on this. But you got to get it from the ground. And so, to answer your question, I think if people started messaging these nurses and doctors and clinics like, "Hey, what are these numbers? What are your numbers locally?
Hmm.
What's the outlook on this?" You'll get the right answer from there because
Yeah.
each region is different. Each
True.
state is different.
True.
Right now, I'm taking a jump on here, but I don't think nobody in South Dakota cares.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
it's not. it's not a big effect to them.
Right.
But when you got people in certain areas like Arizona, like Phoenix is a big place, but you got to look at Native American tribes that they are not packed with tens of thousands of people as a population. They're packed with the hundreds. So if they get one person who gets coronavirus, it's a pandemic for them. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to look at. But to answer your question, so I'm not rambling on, I think it would be best to just ask locally and just keep your eyes open and do the right thing. My opinion here and where I live, I would be safe to say that we're going to spend the summer this same way. Shelter in place, wear masks outside, don't leave your property if you don't have to. I think this is going to go through the summer, and we won't start changing back until probably the next school year.
Yeah,
is what I think.
Yep. For me, I'm an optimistic guy. I want to say June, May, but I can see it going on to August. So.
Yeah, because they are they've restricted travel and a bunch of other things, so can't really be going out anywhere too much.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is find a hobby, and I think with your podcast, which is great, the Voncast, that's a great hobby to fulfill your time and keeps you away from people. But also, if people are at home right now and they've been in home for a month or 3 weeks to a month, sometimes 6, I don't know where we're at right now. But if they haven't picked up a hobby yet or learned something that they want to be good at, they're wasting their own time.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to learn right now.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking of getting some medical people on the podcast, just friends I know that are in the medical field, to ask their opinion about everything. And what you said is kind of like justifies it. Yeah, I definitely should. They're the ones in the front line. They're the ones that deal with patients. So, yeah, man.
You should definitely do it. And if you have a lot of people, a lot of friends who are in the medical industry, whether they're a nurse and anything, like we're even talking X-ray techs, because they're there, man. They're dealing with this too.
Yeah.
You could probably set up a weekly update with what's going on in the San Fernando Valley or something.
Very true. Very true. Well, thank you for your time, man. Where can we find you on social media?
Ooh. Well, if you search anything with the FiveSe7en Collective on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, my name's in there somewhere, Ric Chavez.
Okay.
But on Instagram, it's Ric, R-I-C. There's no K. It's R-I-C Chavez 2011. Basically, that's the best place.
Cool.
Or if you go to FiveSe7enCollective.com, go to artists, and I'm on there. You're on there. Dr. Doppler's on there. Everybody's on there. So
awesome.
Give us a follow, or here's even better. You can go to any of your social media platforms and type in hashtag F7C, letter F, the number 7, and C, and whatever comes up, you're probably going to see my name or J57, and we're all connected on there. So
awesome. Well, thank you for your time again. I appreciate it. Stay safe, and we'll chat again soon, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir, man. Stay safe, and thank you so much.